All right, Matt, thanks for coming in. My dog is snoring back there, so hopefully you can't hear much of that. But so you came in, swing direction's pretty left, path is pretty good, really neutral. The face just starts pointing in different places every other swing. And there's a lot of things in here that are really good. I think your intention is you want to hit draws and you want to get rid of the too much across it with the driver. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, my dog is just snoring, sawing logs. So your intention is to hit a draw with the driver with the long clubs, and there's a couple things in here that are stopping you from being able to do that. Now if you wanted to hit fades, this would be a lot easier, but that's not what you want. So here we go. Now it's set up. You've created a pretty good radius between the left arm and the shaft and the club head, so that, you're setting up for a draw. You can see the shaft, or the ball is a couple balls behind the lead shoulder. That's a draw setup. So we have a draw built in. Some point in here we're going to lose that draw, and we're going to talk about where that is. So in terms of the face on, the top of the backswing is pretty sick. I'm a fan of the centers being lined up. This is nice. Big fan of that. If I'm looking at a golf swing, I like to start at 1, so P1 setup. And where does that come back at 7? So you started here at 1. Here's where you are at 7. You can see the chest moved back a pretty good bit and is in a lot of side bend. You're a really good player and a really good athlete. I don't think that's your intention. I think there's something in there that's causing you to move the chest back and side bend to the right too much. So we're going to look down the line on the left here. Fine with that. Love it. Structure is about as good as I could ask for it to be. I'm a big fan. Penny, can you stop snoring? That didn't work. Okay. Now, side bend. Structure is insanely good on the top. It's about as good as I could ask for. I couldn't ask for a whole lot better. Right about here, in transition, early transition, we start losing our draw. So this left arm starts abducting. This shaft starts coming or entering pretty darn steep. Now, if you wanted to hit like trap fades, there's a lot we can do from here. If your intention is to hit a draw, we have a bit of a problem. So from this position, this is kind of like Paul Casey. If you go across the tour and look at guys who hit low fades, you'll probably see a lot of this. Now, Paul Casey and you do a very similar thing. Okay, so you're going to try to hit a draw from here. The only way you're going to do it, like I said, you have two options. Option one would be you stay in this and you keep rotating through it. Tack angle gets pretty down, path gets pretty left, low point gets pretty forward if you stay in this posture and keep rotating. So that wouldn't be one solution to hit a draw. So what you do is kind of the opposite. You start moving the hips up and forward. You start moving the chest right and back to move the low point further back so you can actually get the path to move relatively close to the inside. So the chest starts sucking back, tilting too much to the right, an effort to lower and shallow the club. We don't do a very good job of it. The club's still in front of us. So the chest keeps moving back, keeps moving back, keeps moving back. Right arm gets stuck. Now we lost control of the face. Your path was relatively consistent. The club was moving through the hitting zone. The swing direction was pretty consistent as well. The club was moving through the hitting zone pretty consistently. The face was just pointing in different places because this right arm is so stuck behind you that you can't square it up very often. So what we decided to do, which I'm a big fan of, we decided to do on the right is going to be the new, on the left's the old. I'm not sure what these things are for here. Let's get rid of those. Okay, so we didn't change anything about the structure. The structure is the best part of the golf swing by far. Now what we decided to do, what we worked on and felt and tried to feel was that the center of mass and the balance point of this shaft stayed behind our hands way too long. It should feel like this thing is so far behind you, it's unbelievable, which we do a really good job of here. I'll stop us at 5. 5. Cool. Now, on the right, you can see the left arm or the lead arm is way more adducted, so it's way more in across the chest. On the left, this left arm is coming out. Shaft is steepening. Center of mass or balance point of the shaft is coming out in front of us pretty quickly. On the right-hand side, you can see the balance point of the center of mass stays back a lot longer, which should give us way more incentive to stay in this thing and keep rotating. This right here is where you lose the draw on the left. Now, if we, with the incentive, or I should say with the center of the mass or the balance point of the shaft that far behind us for that long, we should have a lot of incentive to keep turning through it. We do a better job here. I want to work on this right arm a little bit more as we keep going. But in terms of getting the chest around and a little bit more on top, we did a lot better job of that without even trying to. So we had no thoughts about this necessarily. We just tried to get the center of the mass deeper, longer, and you should have a lot more incentive to turn through it. So, like I said, we're not quite there yet, but we're a lot better than we were, and that's kind of the goal from day one. Keep rehearsing, trying to get this center of the mass to line up with this. Do a couple pump drills, get the feel. The deeper this center of mass, the deeper this club or balance point stays, the longer it stays behind us, the more incentive you're going to have to turn through it. Swing direction was like, started -6 over here, -6, -7. Over here we got it to like -2, -1. I'd stay away from 0. I want the club exiting a little bit left, because I want this chest to do something. If you start getting the swing direction too far to the right, this chest is going to stay closed or continue to stay closed. So, how much can we feel like we're turning with the center of the mass as far back as possible? Good work, man.